Soulless Brotherhood, Chapter 13, Curriculum. I woke up again this morning, a little groggy. We stayed up late, and eventually our parents came and got us. My parents wanted to be sure that we weren't doing anything stupid, and I felt bad when I had to lie to them. I wasn't totally sure about this little search and rescue operation I'd kind of been shanghaied into, but to be honest, I wasn't about to debate it with the guys. I barely knew them, and I was actually starting to fit in, and I know it sounds cliche, but in this kind of world, you gotta stick by your friends, don't you? You don't have much else to live for. I cleaned up and did my business in the morning. A small bus picked me up and took me to the school. There I met my friends, and we all sat in an auditorium. A man dressed in BDUs, looking like he was ex-military, came forward. His hair was white, and he looked at all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to talk to you today about our new class. This isn't math, this isn't science, this isn't history. This is important. Right now, right here. One of the girls stood up snarkily, saying, "Isn't reading important?" He laughed a little bit and said, "Yes, it sure is. You're right. But, judging by the little statistics I see here in town, half of you don't even know how to balance a checkbook, let alone purify a bucket of water. So, I'll make sure to take those smart-ass comments and throw them in the trash where they belong. Now, all you kids are here so that you can learn, in the event of a dangerous disaster scenario, how to be self-sufficient. That's not just cooking ramen on the stove." A few of the kids laughed. "We're talking about making a fire in several different ways, because sometimes you don't have matches or a lighter. We're talking about purifying water and making sure it's drinkable. We're talking about how to splint a leg if you break something, God forbid. We're talking about serious stuff here, and this is not a joke. Some of you kids will be pulled out of this today, I guarantee it, because your parents don't believe you should know any of this. I say that's bullshit. All of you should know how to do every one of these things, because there is no guarantee of tomorrow. Let me make that very clear. These walls that we live in our town, are temporary. Nothing lasts forever. Was to say that someone rams our buildings, kills all of us, and you kids are left for dead. If none of you know how to do some of the most basic survival techniques, then you will die." Some of the kids were ghost quiet. Yes, the first bit of adulthood or reality they get is the fact that they might die. And it's not something I would really think about, honestly. Not every 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kid thinks about his own mortality. It's always YOLO and what can you do today so that you can have fun tomorrow. He went on and told us about what we were going to do. Every class, everything. How to fight, how to defend ourselves, how to cook food, how to look up different things, how to recognize herbs, and we had several different teachers walk forward. Some of them were hunters, some of them were trappers, some were carpenters, some were basic survivalists, some were all sorts of different people. We had a hunting class, and we even had people teach us how to sew and fix things. It was a lot of practical stuff, old world stuff, they said. They said that a lot. They passed out a bunch of notebooks and said, "You will take notes. These will be akin to a Bible for you guys. Every class you have, every day, you're going to take notes. You're going to draw pictures of things. You're going to recognize things. By the end of this, you're going to know the difference between a morel, mushroom, and a poisonous one. By the end of this, you're going to be able to make a fire with your eyes closed 6 different ways. By the end of this, you're going to know what you need to do to live, survive, and thrive. Maybe you kids won't ever have to use any of this, and I pray for that. I hope so. I genuinely do. But the simple fact is, the worst can happen every day of every minute of every second. Something bad can happen. Be it from animals, weather, the dead, other people, you don't know. The simple fact is that you kids are here because you need to learn. You never stop learning, and if you kids don't want to do this, tough. Get over it. A lot of us got together after the man stepped down from the assembly. We were given a few minutes to talk. Afterwards, we were asked if we wanted to be in groups. Classes, I guess. We were stuck in classes of about 30. Normal size. There was a lot of kids there from all over, since a lot of people migrated to Rose Hill. Our first class was making armor, how to protect ourselves. This was a new thing they were implementing with the kids. It was a carpenter shop teacher. He said, "Okay, in this room, we've collected a lot of different materials that can protect you from a zombie bite. As you guys know, one bite turns you into one of them. It's an infection, so you want to be sure to protect yourself. Gloves are key, so each one of you is going to be given some gloves to protect yourself. No glove is totally bite-proof in this box, but it will keep you from getting bit totally. It'll give you more than enough room to keep your hands safe, because your hands, of course, are your most important tool. It's a survival. If you don't have them, you're dead. So take care of them." My friends, Logan, Jake, and Dawson just so happened to be in my class, which was nice. We put on our gloves, and I got a pair of nice leather work ones. We all set up and we went to the shop. There were several carts set up with all kinds of different things. Scraps of leather, thick pieces of carpet, rubber, all sorts of things. We all sat down and made our own custom arm guards. We even made some leg guards to protect our shins. If one is crawling at you, chances are it's going to bite you, so you want to make sure that the shin guard wraps around. You can lace it from the back, but I recommend you lace it from the front, so if they do bite you in the back of the leg, they're only getting what they're biting into. Understand? We spent the whole day making them. A lot of them looked really crappy, and some of the kids really didn't want to be there, so a lot of them just looked like other crap. I've seen kids make macaroni pictures that looked a lot better than and a lot more defensible than this garbage. The teacher would grab them and scrap them and throw them in the trash. The kids would get pissed off, but he said, "This is supposed to be bite-proof. Make no mistake, you guys. This is serious." Me and the guys got into a box and we got some leather and some thick, what appeared to be tiling for floors. It was rubber on the back and carpet inside. We took that, made that our base. We had a small little thing that could make grommets, and we strapped it with paracord. We covered that and took some rivets and sheared up some sheet metal and wrapped that around it, and added some leather as well. By the end of the day, our hands were raw, but we had some pretty good armor. It protected our arms and it protected our legs, and as a matter of fact, we got an A in the class. That was most of our day. We went to a few other classes that gave us introductions, and they gave us some basic supplies. Each one of us got some sort of kit to make a fire. I didn't get so lucky. I got a piece of metal and a piece of manganese or whatever it was. It was a flint and steel pretty much. After a little bit of handling, I was a little worried, but Dawson showed me how to use it, and I felt like an idiot because I didn't know what I was doing. Things were looking pretty good. We already had a couple pages filled full of notes and how basic things worked. For the next few days, we spent our time really absorbing a lot. My dad would always encourage me, "Hey, pay attention in class. Make sure you know what you're doing, okay? I want you to take a lot of notes, and of course, blah, blah, blah. Every parent wants you to do well in school. But at this point, I wanted to too. There was a big difference. Back in school, I really didn't think any of it really mattered, because honestly, trying to find the square root of pi didn't really bother me or really pique my interest. But knowing how to make a tourniquet or how to seal a wound properly without getting infections just seemed a little bit more close to home in this situation, I thought. We did really well. A couple days had passed, and we started to really absorb a lot of things. How to make fires, how to know that cattails are edible, which I didn't even think. Walking through Central Park, I saw a lot of them in the ponds. Who would have thought they would taste like celery? I learned all kinds of new stuff, like turmeric, how it could seal a wound. A stupid spice that I got in curry when I was a kid. It was just all kinds of cool stuff. We learned a lot. Our notebooks were full. We had extra scrap papers being tucked away. We had all sorts of things. We were ready. And after a few weeks, we had learned so much. A few months passed by. Every night, after school, we'd run over towards the wall. As the sun went down, we'd look out on a small little hill where they said they would be. No flashlight. We began to worry about them. We were worried that something bad would happen to them. What if they got eaten? Jake said. Dawson said, hey, they're smart. They had guns. I mean, if they have guns, they should be all right. Logan said, yeah, but what if they ran out of bullets? I had to say something. I felt bad for them. They were talking themselves. They were talking their friends into an early grave. They were scaring themselves. I said, guys. If they were tough enough to fight in the militia or whatever you want to call it, I mean, don't you think they should be able to fight off some zombies? I mean, that one guy seemed like he knew quite a bit. Blake, his name? Yeah. They all nodded, yeah, he does know quite a bit about, outdoor stuff. And Derek, they seem like good guys. Something tells me something's watching over them. I didn't know if I believed that honestly. To be honest, there's no real guarantees that you survive out there. In the back of my head, I thought they were pretty much dead. But I had to tell them something. And they were the first friends I've made in such a long time. As per usual, we got up in the morning at 6 o'clock, went to school, came back home, ate, and walked our way back down to the wall. We got pretty creative with the lies, and we just tell them we were out walking around and helping out. A couple times we'd have to enforce our alibi by actually doing stuff, but we were always there at that wall at 10:30. We waited and nothing. A couple times we'd get scolded by guards telling us to get home because it was too late. But we kept hope out there. That night I laid in my bed and I actually folded my hands and prayed for the first time. I didn't really grow up in the church. I didn't know exactly what to do, so I took my hat off and fumbled with it and set it on the floor of my bed. I looked around and closed my door and locked it. I don't really know what to do here, I said as I held my hands up. Do I fold them, or do I bow like a Buddhist, or... Screw it. I walked over to a chair and I slid it up against the wall. I sat in it. I folded my hands like I'd seen earlier at the meetings. Hey God, it's me, Danny. I'm not really good at any of this, and I don't even know if you're up there listening. But I know my friends believe in you, and that's something, I guess. And I know I'm not dead, so I've gotten pretty lucky from here on out. It's gotta be more than luck, I guess. Maybe it's just the walls. Maybe you're not even listening. Should I pray to the moon or the stars? I really don't know. But my friends are worried. I don't know why. I mean, we got food, we've got these walls. That's pretty good. A lot of people were asking what kind of a God would allow this, but maybe it was our fault. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if I should ask you for a list like Christmas, or I really don't know. But if you can protect these guys going out to find Jesse, this kid, I would really appreciate it. My friends would really appreciate it too, I'm sure. I laughed. I don't even know if you're listening. I don't even know if someone out there is listening to me and laughing their butt off. I'm going to roll the dice and kind of bank that something good's going to happen out of all this, and I really hope that class goes well. I really hope my parents get along, and hope you're watching out for us. And if you are, that'd be pretty cool. Well, I gotta go, I guess. The end. I rubbed my hand across my forehead because it definitely was the best I could do. I was a little embarrassed, to be honest. I didn't know if I did that right or wrong or completely botched it. I turned around and I saw Jake there. He was holding a little pin. He was laughing. Man, you're hopeless. How the heck did you get in here? I asked him. And did you hear all that? He nodded and laughed a little bit and said, "It's fine, dude. These doors have crappy locks." He came over and sat on my bed and sat across from me and said, "Hey, man, I appreciate you doing that for us. It means a lot. It may not mean a lot to you, but it says something about you, man, and I appreciate it. I really do. The guys are really worried about them, and I know you really don't have any reason to worry about them because you don't even freaking know them. But it's cool. You're cool for doing that. It's fine, man. I mean, if it is a noble journey, I guess. I mean, I gotta say something. And besides, we gotta stick together, right?" Jake nodded. "Yeah, man." "Well, I gotta go, alright? Take it easy, man." He walked out of the room, and I shook my head and laughed. Jeez, I guess somebody was really listening. I guess I'm gonna make this habit of talking to myself or someone if they're listening. That night I laid down and I was really tired. I'd been learning so much, actually. And it was kind of nice to actually go to class and learn stuff again. It made me forget about the dead, even though there were heavy overtones of the dead actually walking outside of our walls. As the days pass by, I've learned so much. My notebook's getting fuller, and I'm actually learning things that I never thought I would. Things might turn out just okay. For once, I'm actually feeling like a kid. But it's kind of cool to feel like you could take care of yourself, I guess. If you are listening out there, take care of those guys, wherever they are.